Welcome back to the Laughing My Age Off podcast. In today's show, we are, of course, going to be talking about something that's going to help you age more gracefully, but it's something you may have never even thought about, all right? We talk about skincare creams, we talk about physical fitness, spiritual wellness, but have you ever thought about gardening? Yes, I'm repeating myself here, gardening, okay? Gardening is one of the most underlooked ways of aging more gracefully. And in today's episode, we're going to really explore the benefits of gardening. Okay. And whether you're someone that gardens already and you already know some of the benefits, or you're someone like me that hardly ever gardens and wants to, this episode is for you. So let's do it.
Embark on a journey to defy time with LMAO, Laughing My Age Off podcast. I'm your host, Erica Kelly, and I started this show because, like you, I'm curious about the secrets to staying youthful as the years go by. Join me as we discover the secrets to slowing down the aging process, exploring expert insights, cutting-edge research, and personal experiences that uncover the art of aging gracefully. It's time to laugh, learn, and embrace a life full of vitality together.
Okay, let's dive right in. So, gardening is really going to impact your life. And, gardening doesn't have to be a full-time job. I'm not a gardener by any means, but I'm finding ways now to incorporate simple things, and we will talk about that. But talking about some of the anti-aging benefits, there are 5 of them we're going to talk about today, okay? And if you haven't listened to episode number 16, we talk a lot about dementia and Alzheimer's, and that's going to be connected to this episode. So if you haven't already, listen to episode 16, all right? So 5 of the ways that it's going to help you age more gracefully is number 1, it increases your self-esteem, reduces anger, stress, and depression. Number 2, it's going to reduce the risk of dementia. Number 3, helps to reduce arthritis. If you can imagine that, you're working with your hands. Number 4, lowers blood pressure. And number 5, we've talked about this in other episodes, it helps to lower cortisol levels, all right? Too much cortisol is not good, and we'll get into that. So diving into number 1, this is about just overall health with your stress, depression. If you have depression, it reduces anger. So all those bad emotions, which really age you poorly than if you're happy, right? You always see people who are more angry, sad. They just don't age better, do they? No. So we want to strive to be happier, and gardening is the key to happiness. Okay. So there are studies that are out there that really contribute to this claim, all right? There's a study from Texas A&M University that found that interacting with plants can actually increase self-esteem and reduce feelings of anger, sadness, and stress. All right. They also found that just being around nature, right? When you're gardening, you're around all this greenness, right? I'm holding up a pot here if you're listening to the audio, but just being around the green gets you connected to earth. So studies show that residents that only have 10% green space within about a half mile had a 25% greater risk of depression and a 30% greater risk of anxiety orders. So what is this trying to tell us? We need to be around green, okay? Be in a neighborhood that has more trees. If you don't have enough trees, get some shrubs, get some bushes, okay? And their studies here, results from a meta-analysis in Toronto, Canada, suggests that people who live in neighborhoods with higher density of trees on their streets report significantly less cardiometabolic conditions. So they say having 10 or more trees in a city block is the magic number, right? So live in a neighborhood with more trees if you're considering moving to a new neighborhood, okay? Don't live in the desert. That's not going to help you age more gracefully. All right. I don't know if cactuses count, but this study also goes on to say the difference between women and men and how women experience more stress than men when they're away from nature. And they found that there was a significant inverse relationship between green spaces and stress levels, with higher levels of green space resulting in lower stress levels. So summarizing that is that it's saying that women who lived more than 1 kilometer away from green spaces reported higher stress levels and perceived poor health and quality of life than those who live near green spaces. So, females, we need to make sure we are around more green than men. Okay. And, what can we do? Well, we can garden, but also doing certain things like just being around flowers. I know I like to pick flowers all the time when I'm at the grocery store. Just being around nature flowers can help with that. So, number 2, gardening can reduce the risk of dementia by 36%. Okay. And we talk about dementia and Alzheimer's in episode number 16. And just a quick refresher, if you haven't listened to it yet, but I totally encourage you to go back and listen. Dementia is the term used to describe the symptoms of a large group of illnesses such as Alzheimer's. Okay. So we're all probably familiar with Alzheimer's, but there are many more forms of dementia, right? And dementia is something that can be avoided with lifestyle choices. And gardening is one of them. So they did a study. There was a study done in 2019 and was published in the International Journal of Environmental Health. They found that planting a vegetable garden can improve your brain nerve growth factors related to memory. And it can improve functioning in the hippocampus, which is critical for memory. And it helps the cortical regions of the brain. So, having a garden, tending to a garden can actually improve your brain, your memory. All right. So what they did is, they did this study, had 2 groups, and they made these groups. One was a control group, of course, and one was tending to a garden. They gave them all these different gardening exercises to do, tending to the garden, fertilizing it, planting things. And they revealed by taking their blood samples that their memory actually improved in senior individuals. And this scientific evidence has gone on to, believe it or not, create support for nursing homes and, places where elderly people live, for them to build these gardens. And they're finding a lot of great success. So if you're one of those people who are listening and you are wondering, maybe you have a parent that you're tending to and maybe you're considering putting them in a home, find a home that is serious about really improving, your parent's life. And a garden is one of those. So that's just a tip right there. And so we're going to move on to number 3. Gardening is really good for the hands, so it's no surprise that it's going to help reduce arthritis, particularly in the hands. All right. And when you're gardening, you are using your hands. So I really compare this to physical fitness, right? If you don't practice physical fitness, your mobility is just going to get worse over time. So same thing goes for arthritis. If you lose that mobility in your hands, the worst thing you do is just stop trying to move your hands. Okay. So gardening, between planting seeds, mulching rows, pruning, harvesting vegetables, everything that goes with gardening, right? They might not seem like a workout, but they're especially good as we age, right? For the hands. And according to Kansas State University study, they studied this and they go on to say this improves dexterity, and they say that this will help alleviate those symptoms from arthritis. This broadcast is brought to you by the Fit and Pretty Life fitness app. Ladies, are you tired of aging way too fast? Well, we need to get more movement into your day. And one way to do that is getting around 30 minutes a day of movement. The Fit and Pretty Life fitness app can help you with that. These are high intensity, low impact, so you're not going to kill your joints. This includes booty, abs, arms, total body, and legs. Now, I know what you're thinking. I can't do the workouts at home. I have to go to the gym. I have to be around people. Well, for now, for a limited time, you do get 2 live Zoom workouts a week. We work out on Mondays and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find us in our show notes here from the direct link, or you can find us on Apple Fit and Pretty Life app. We will see you soon. All right, moving on to number 4. Tending to a garden can decrease inflammation and lower blood pressure. Okay, so spending time with plants is soothing, mentally soothing, but it also has a positive effect on your physical health, such as blood pressure and inflammation. And there's one study done by the American Society for Horticulture Science that looked at the effects of community gardening on 21 women over 70. All right, so they participated in a 15-session gardening program, and the researchers found that low to moderate physical exertion while gardening decreased their cholesterol levels, blood pressure, and oxidative stress in the body. So gardening can lower your blood pressure, and it's low exertion, it's low impact. Okay, you're not going to be killing those joints. So let's talk about number 5. Gardening keeps your cortisol levels low. All right, we've talked about overload of cortisol and what it can do to the body in some of our other episodes. But just a quick reminder, cortisol is your steroid hormone, all right? And most of the cells in your body have cortisol receptors, and they use it for a variety of functions such as blood sugar regulation, inflammation reduction, metabolism regulation, and memory formulation. But too much of cortisol, as we know, can harm your body. And general signs and symptoms of too much cortisol could be weight gain, especially around the belly area, your midsection, thickening of skin, easy bruising. You have slow healing. Let's say you get a bruise and you just feel like that bruise isn't going away. You have severe fatigue. You have high blood pressure and headaches. So those are some of just the common symptoms of too much cortisol in the body. All right. So with gardening, it's going to help with that. It's going to help reduce cortisol levels. And there's a study, There's a study done by the University of Sheffield, and they found that greener front gardens can actually make you feel more happier and more relaxed and closer to nature. So what they did is they measured the residents' concentration of cortisol hormone levels. So they gave residents, 2 groups, one control group, and the other group was given a bunch of trees, shrubs from lavender, rosemary bulbs. And so they gave them a bunch of plants. And what they did is they measured the group's cortisol hormone levels beforehand. And before the experiment, only 24% of the residents had healthy cortisol levels. Over the course of the year, following the plantings of these shrubs and trees, this increased to 53% of the residents having healthy cortisol levels. So over half, 52% of the residents said that their front garden helped them be happier, and 40% of them said it helped them be more relaxed, and over 1 in 4 said that it helped them to be closer to nature. Hearing this, don't you think about how you should be gardening more? And now for a commercial break. So I want to ask you, when is the last time you had a great tasting protein bar that wasn't full of garbage? I want to tell you, I gave up on protein bars a while ago because of this reason. They were either 1, full of garbage, or 2, they just tasted like cardboard. Okay. So I was really surprised when I was introduced to Nugo bars. All right. So Nugo bars are bars that don't contain bad oils, no sugar alcohols, and they taste really, really good. Okay. And they have protein to boot. So I love these protein bars when I need like a quick fix, when I need something sweet that will give me some satiety. Honestly, these are really good with a little coffee in the morning. Forget the donuts, forget the coffees, just take a bite of these. And now for a limited time, if you go to nugonutrition.com/fitandpretty, that's NUGO nutrition.com/fitandpretty, FITNPRETTY, you'll get 50% off 12 bars. So normally this box is $30. You'll get this entire box of 12 bars that includes 2 dark chocolate pretzels with sea salt, 2 chocolate chip. You get 2 peanut butter cup. You get 2 mint chocolate chip, which is my favorite. You also get 2 dark mocha chocolates. And your last 2 is going to be your dark chocolate almond with sea salt. So it's limit 1 per customer. Hurry while supplies last. So let's talk about the ways that we can garden. And there are 4 of them that I came up with that makes you think about gardening in a different way, right? Of course, you can go outside, you can add flowers. That's one way, right? You can create a garden bed to create fruits and vegetables. You can tend to that. So there's many ways to garden outside, but do you ever think about ways that you can garden indoors, right? So maybe when you're listening to this, it's still maybe not the season to garden. You can definitely garden indoors, all right? Whether it's just tending to some tropical plants indoors, right? Just having those potted plants, tending to it, watering it, taking care of it. That's one simple way, right? Indoor gardening, all right? You can also do, if you like microgreens, I know there's kits out there. There's so many indoor floral kits or veggie gardening trays that you can create and produce indoors. So that's another way to create gardening inside the home. The other one I have is flower arranging. So maybe you don't want to get too much into the dirt, but I know I just love picking flowers. So when you're at the grocery store, pick your flowers. Really kind of just sit in that environment when you're shopping and just take it in. I know I like to go to Whole Foods and pick out my tulips or, whatever they have that's fresh. So flower arranging, really just take a notice of that the next time you go to the grocery store. All right. And here's one final one that I came up with, creating bird feeders. Yeah. So there are many different types of bird feeders out there. One of the ones that I was looking into was a pine cone bird feeder. So there are many tutorials on how to make pine cone bird feeders, but that's you're getting into nature. You've got the pine cones. You're going to have to refill it or create more so the birds can get it. So you're getting out in nature. You're putting some love into something that will have a positive impact, and you'll be able to see it. I think that's something that would be kind of cool to see birds benefit from too. So those are the 4 different types of gardening. I'm interested to hear what type of gardening you might be doing right now. And if you are interested, we do have a Facebook group, and we are starting to show off some of our gardens and see how they will grow. And so it's pretty exciting to see. I personally just started growing a garden, and I am not an experienced gardener, but I am learning. So if you would like to join us on that journey, please go ahead and connect with us through our links right here, and we will see you soon. Take care.